The Canary Islands, also known as the Canaries, are a Spanish archipelago located just off the southern coast of Morocco, 100 kilometers west of its southern border. The Canaries constitute one of Spain's 17 autonomous communities and are among the outermost regions of the European Union proper. The main islands are Tenerife, Fuerteventura, Gran Canaria, Lanzarote, La Palma, La Gomera and El Hierro. The archipelago also includes a number of islands and islets: La Graciosa, Ilegranza, Isla de Lobos, Montana Clara, Roque del Oeste and Roque del Este. The archipelago's beaches, climate and important natural attractions, especially Maspalomas in Gran Canaria and Teide National Park and Mount Teide in Tenerife, make it a major tourist destination with over 12 million visitors per year, especially Tenerife, Fuerteventura, Gran Canaria and Lanzarote. The islands have a subtropical climate, with long warm summers and moderately warm winters. The precipitation levels and the level of maritime moderation varies depending on location and elevation. Green areas as well as desert exist on the archipelago. Due to their location above the temperature inversion layer, the high mountains of these islands are ideal for astronomical observation. For this reason, two professional observatories, Teide Observatory on the island of Tenerife and Roque de los Muchachos Observatory on the island of La Palma, have been built on the islands. The capital of the autonomous community is shared by the cities of Santa Cruz de Tenerife and Las Palmas de Gran Canaria, which in turn are the capitals of the provinces of Santa Cruz de Tenerife and province of Las Palmas. Las Palmas de Gran Canaria has been the largest city in the Canaries since 1768, except for a brief period in 1910. Between the 1833 territorial division of Spain and 1927, Santa Cruz de Tenerife was the sole capital of the Canary Islands. In 1927 a decree ordered that the capital of the Canary Islands be shared, as it remains at present. The third largest city of the Canary Islands is San Cristobal de la Laguna on Tenerife. This city is also home to the Consejo Consultivo de Canarias, which is the supreme consultative body of the Canary Islands. During the times of the Spanish Empire, the Canaries were the main stopover for Spanish galleons on their way to the Americas because of the prevailing winds from the northeast. Etymology. The name Islas Canarias is likely derived from the Latin name Canaria Insulae, meaning islands of the dogs, a name applied originally only to Gran Canaria. According to the historian Pliny the Elder, the Mauritanian king Juba II named the island Canaria because it contained vast multitudes of dogs of very large size. Another speculation is that the so-called dogs were actually a species of monk seal, critically endangered and no longer present in the Canary Islands. The dense population of seals may have been the characteristic that most struck the few ancient Romans who established contact with these islands by sea. Alternatively, it is said that the original inhabitants of the island, Guanches, used to worship dogs, mummified them and treated dogs generally as holy animals. The ancient Greeks also knew about a people, living far to the west, who were the dog-headed ones, who worshipped dogs on an island. Some hypothesize that the Canary Islands dog worship and the ancient Egyptian cult of the dog-headed god Anubis are closely connected, but there is no explanation given as to which one was first. Other theories speculate that the name comes from a reported Berber tribe living in the Moroccan Atlas, named in Roman sources as Canarii, though Pliny again mentions the relation of this term with dogs. The connection to dogs is retained in the depiction on the island's coat of arms. What is certain is that the name of the islands does not derive from the canary bird, rather, the birds are named after the islands. Geography. Tenerife is the most populous island, and also the largest island of the archipelago. Gran Canaria, with 865,070 inhabitants, is both the Canary Islands' second most populous island and the third most populous one in Spain after Mallorca. The island of Fuerteventura is the second largest in the archipelago and located 100 kilometers from the African coast. The islands form the Macaronesia ecoregion with the Azores, Cape Verde, Madeira, and the Savage Isles. The archipelago consists of 7 large and several smaller islands, all of which are volcanic in origin. The Teide volcano on Tenerife is the highest mountain in Spain, and the third tallest volcano on Earth on a volcanic ocean island. All the islands except La Gomera have been active in the last million years. 4 of them have historical records of eruptions since European discovery. The islands rise from Jurassic oceanic crust associated with the opening of the Atlantic. Underwater magmatism commenced during the Cretaceous, and reached the ocean's surface during the Miocene. The islands are considered as a distinct physiographic section of the Atlas Mountains province, which in turn is part of the larger African Alpine System division. In the summer of 2011, a series of low-magnitude earthquakes occurred beneath El Hierro. These had a linear trend of northeast-southwest. In October, a submarine eruption occurred about 2 kilometers south of Restinga. This eruption produced gases and pumice, but no explosive activity was reported. According to the position of the islands with respect to the northeast trade winds, the climate can be mild and wet or very dry. Several native species form laurisilva forests. As a consequence, the individual islands in the Canary archipelago tend to have distinct microclimates. Those islands such as El Hierro, La Palma and La Gomera lying to the west of the archipelago have a climate which is influenced by the moist Gulf Stream. They are well vegetated even at low levels and have extensive tracts of subtropical laurisilva forest. As one travels east toward the African coast, the influence of the Gulf Stream diminishes, and the islands become increasingly arid. Fuerteventura and Lanzarote, the islands which are closest to the African mainland, are effectively desert or semi-desert. Gran Canaria is known as a continent in miniature for its diverse landscapes like Maspalomas and Roque Nublo. In terms of its climate, Tenerife is particularly interesting. The north of the island lies under the influence of the moist Atlantic winds and is well vegetated, while the south of the island around the tourist resorts of Playa de las Americas and Los Cristianos is arid. The island rises to almost 4,000 meters above sea level, and at altitude, in the cool relatively wet climate. Forests of the endemic pine Pinus canariensis thrive. Many of the plant species in the Canary Islands, like the Canary Island pine and the dragon tree, Dracaena draco, are endemic, as noted by Sabin Berthelot and Philip Barker Webb in their epic work, List to Our Natural Des Isles Canaries. 4 of Spain's 13 national parks are located in the Canary Islands, more than any other autonomous community. Teide National Park is the most visited in Spain, and the oldest and largest within the Canary Islands. The parks are. The following table shows the highest mountains in each of the islands. Climate. The climate is subtropical and desertic, moderated by the sea and in summer by the trade winds. There are a number of microclimates, and the classifications range mainly from semi-arid to desert. According to the Köppen climate classification, the majority of the Canary Islands have a hot desert climate represented as BWH. There also exists a subtropical humid climate which is very influenced by the ocean in the middle of the islands of La Gomera, Tenerife and La Palma, where the laurisilva forests grow. Geology. The originally volcanic islands, 7 major islands, 1 minor island, and several small islets were formed by the Canary hotspot. The Canary Islands is the only place in Spain where volcanic eruptions have been recorded during the modern era, with some volcanoes still active. Volcanic islands such as those in the Canary chain often have steep ocean cliffs caused by catastrophic debris avalanches and landslides. Political geography. The autonomous community of the Canary Islands consists of 2 provinces, Las Palmas and Santa Cruz de Tenerife. whose capitals are capitals of the autonomous community. Each of the 7 major islands is ruled by an island council named Cabildo Insular. The international boundary of the Canaries is the subject of dispute between Spain and Morocco. Morocco's official position is that international laws regarding territorial limits do not authorize Spain to claim seabed boundaries based on the territory of the Canaries, since the Canary Islands enjoy a high degree of autonomy. In fact, the islands do not enjoy any special degree of autonomy, as each one of the Spanish regions is considered an autonomous community under the law of the sea. The only islands not granted territorial waters or an exclusive economic zone are those that are not fit for human habitation or do not have an economic life of their own, which is clearly not the case of the Canary Islands. The boundary determines the ownership of seabed oil deposits and other ocean resources. Morocco and Spain have therefore been unable to agree on a compromise regarding the territorial boundary, since neither nation wants to cede its claimed right to the vast resources whose ownership depends upon the boundary. In 2002, for example, Morocco rejected a unilateral Spanish proposal. The islands have 13 seats in the Spanish Senate. Of these, 11 seats are directly elected, 3 for Gran Canaria, 3 for Tenerife, 1 for each other island. 2 seats are indirectly elected by the regional autonomous government. The local government is presided over by Paulino Rivero, the current president of the Canary Islands.